This is Matthew McConaughey.
Natalie Portman.
James Patterson.
Michael Ian Black.
And you are listening to
Five Questions
with Dan Schawbel.
Bruce, welcome to Five Questions.
Thank you. Happy to be here. I hope I get 4 out of 5.
I'm sure you're going to get 5 out of 5.
Okay.
What influence did your dad have on your acting career?
My father wanted to be an amateur actor, or at least I think he was to flesh out his life. He was an amateur actor at the St. Dunstan's Guild of Cranbrook in suburban Detroit, and I went to see him in a play when I was about 8, and I was like, what? That's my dad? What's he doing up there? Because my dad was an ad guy. So he was sort of in the creative arts, but he got into this as a diversion because the ad business didn't quite do it for him. So he wanted something else. And I saw that. I was like, well, that works for me. And so, yeah, my dad was a big influence.
Yeah, you saw him, so you're like, this is something I can do. It's something I can pursue.
I didn't even know if I could do it. I wanted to do it. I looked around. I was like, wait, my dad's cracking jokes. People are laughing. He's dancing with women that are not my mother. What's happening here? It was very influential.
And how do you think your collaboration with Sam Raimi on the Evil Dead franchise has been so successful and has had such longevity?
We like working with each other. He's crazy. Sam's always been completely out of his mind. I met him in, what is it now? High school. I saw him once in junior high school. He was dressed like Sherlock Holmes, playing with dolls on the floor of my junior high school. And I really remember, I went, that guy's a weirdo. I'm going to walk away around that guy. And then I met him in my second year of high school in radio speech. And he always just thought outside the box. He did everything different, everything more complicated, more difficult. He wanted to do stuff in the first Evil Dead movie that was impossible for us to do, but we tried to do it anyway. And he's always been like that. He really pushes everybody over a cliff. And film crews love him because he's like this crazy, fearless leader with a bullhorn as he goes over the waterfall. So he's very inspired, and he's a good leader. A lot of directors are stiffs. They can't get people excited, and they also don't know what to say to actors. What Sam does is he just insults me. That's how he directs.
I wonder if you insulted back.
What's funny is now that he does these big Hollywood movies, I come in to do my little day player role as this guy or that guy, and he'll start trash talking immediately. And we'll do a take, and he'll say, wow, I probably should have gotten an actor for this role. And I go, yeah, well, it helps if there was a director. And I said something like that one time, and the entire crew went dead silent. And because they were like, who's this guy? Who's this day player coming in to trash talk the great Sam Raimi? I'm like, you people have no idea. And so we have a very healthy repartee of insults.
I think thinking outside of the box, as well as just overall being creative and doing things that are, not fully like IP based, like it's very rare now, right? Because it's always like, what's the next Batman movie? What's the next, Marvel Universe series? Yeah. What's the next, everything is kind of based on IP, but to create IP from scratch in especially in today's world has got to be like almost impossible.
Well, the funny thing is, if we pitched a movie now, 5 kids go to a cabin in the woods and find this creepy book and say it, and they get possessed one by one. We could never get that movie made.
Timing's everything, right?
Well, could you do another Texas Chainsaw movie?
Exactly.
Maybe we were lucky at the time. We didn't know how difficult it would be to get an original idea off the ground.
Absolutely. And you have so many different projects. How did you come up with the idea for Sergeant Rock versus the Army of the Evil Dead comic book?
They tracked me down. DC got a hold of me somehow, and they were like, hey, we're going to take some of our characters and put them into a horror world. Do you want to have a whack at that? I was like, well, with all due respect, I don't know a litany of the DC characters. I can't recite them. And I said, literally, do you have a link or something? Or can you send me a book or something with all the DC characters? And some fan, I guess, had done some exhaustive work. They sent me a link, And I scrolled through, guy in tights, guy does this, woman does this, special powers this. And I swear to God, the last one was Sergeant Rock. And I went, I just stopped right there because I knew Sergeant Rock. And of all those comics, I read Sergeant Rock and I totally bought it, understood it. Classic, old school, tough guy, hero. And he's so old school that I thought it would be fun to bring back a character who is so not refined. He with this whole thing of this plan of how Hitler, reanimates the dead. He doesn't even want to know. We don't know how they do it, and we don't care. We just have to stop it. That's what I like about Rock. He's like a more responsible version of Ash Williams from the Evil Dead movies. He takes orders. Rock gets an order. Go figure out what's going on. He's like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah. Speaking of Ash, which is you're obviously very well known for, why do you think your portrayal of Ash in this book and in other media has been able to, or just overall that character has been so relevant and developed such a cult following?
Well, because he's just like you. He's us. He's you or me fighting a monster. We don't know anything. We have no skills, no special skills, no former Navy SEAL special ops. I mean, we got a note from Stars one time when we were making Ash versus Evil Dead, when we brought it back as a TV show. And they said Ash was handling the shotgun improperly, like not up to good safety standards. And we laughed. We were like, get out of here. He wouldn't know. Because when Ash talks to people, he waves his shotgun all over the place. And it's just, they're like, that's not proper. And we're like, well, that's Ash.
It's the relatability. Yeah. It's like, this could be you in this horror film.
It could be you.
And this is how you might react too.
100%. You might get scared. You might lie. You might cheat. You might steal to get out of a situation to save your hide. Funny thing is, none of us know. Everyone goes, oh, man, I would have told that guy, I would have taken care of that guy. You don't know. You don't know until you're right in that moment. And so, that's the fun about Ash, is that I think people go, I don't know if he's going to actually be able to get out of this because he's not completely smart. He could be killed. Stray bullet, Ash, dead. That's what's fun too. Same with Sergeant Rock. He's a tough guy, but he's not infallible. So you got to always try and kill these guys.
Yeah,
you got to beat them up, man.
Yeah, I feel like I like the shows and movies that are unpredictable, where you don't know what's going to happen next. And that's the exciting part about it. That's what gets people more invested of, is this next episode in the series? I know you did that, the Evil Dead series as well with multiple seasons. And it's like, what's going to happen next to them, right? Like, that's going to make you want to tune in.
Ideally, although it's really hard to kill a character these days. I think if we wanted to kill Ash, they'd be, maybe not.
And what's your best piece of career advice?
Honestly, it's to ignore the career advice, because in Detroit, all the advice was, they don't make movies here. They don't make movies here. Why you want to make movie? Why you want to make movie? If we listened to those people, we would never have attempted it. So people who want to give you advice, especially about the entertainment industry, they don't know anything. Unless you're getting advice from like Stan Lee, one of these guys, or so, one of the old timers who's been through the mill. Like if William Shatner gives you advice, maybe take that.
He was on the show too. He gave advice.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But a guy like that, I would actually listen to, because he would give you practical advice. So I think that's it. Mostly don't get hung up on advice.
Well, that's great advice to not get hung up on advice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Right on. Thank you.